Well, isn't that the obvious question? If it goes, what will replace it? So you have
Right.
the EU's investment court system, which is very similar, except it has an appeal mechanism that has state appointed judges. Untested, we don't know where that's going to go. The EU wants to multilateralize that to essentially have a global court that sits on top of all the free trade agreements. So that's an interesting hybrid. The sense that I get from most academics is that's not terribly well received, and it may end up not going anywhere.
Why
So
is
the
that?
EU, well, I think it will be difficult to get countries to sign on to that.
Right.
Who are these judges going to be? Are they going to have expertise in all these different treaties? You know, the many hundreds or thousands of treaties. How can you have one court sitting above all of them? So again, I think the identity of the judge is how they're appointed. So the EU, rather than abandoning it, wants to formalize it more. So that's sort of an interesting route. If you look at what Brazil is doing, and Brazil was always a reluctant participant to investment treaties. They never really had many. Brazil is really pushing the conciliation and alternative dispute resolution. So Brazil is putting in its treaties about avoiding disputes, this sort of ongoing dialogue between the parties, having a way of diffusing disputes before they escalate, which is a really interesting idea. I'm sure the academics are going to be looking closely at how that works for Brazil. The other thing, of course, is having classic state to state dispute settlement like the WTO.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the treaties, in addition to ISDS, have this anyway. So if you eliminate ISDS, well, what do you do if there's a problem? You're the investor, you feel there's been an expropriation of your assets. You go to your home government and you ask them to diplomatic intervention, bring a complaint against the host state. So it's a way of sort of elevating it to the level of public international, like the WTO. I can't see that working pragmatically for smaller companies. If you're a giant multinational that has a huge lobbying office in Washington, D.C., great. That's probably going to work for you. You're a little tiny investor. And let's not forget, not all investors are huge. We tend to think, oh, they're all giant corporations. They're not. You're a little company investing overseas. Are you really going to lobby Parliament in London to bring a claim on it? It's probably not going to work.
Yeah, probably not going to happen.
So I don't know that that's going to work for bigger companies. And then the other obvious answer is the domestic courts. This whole system was designed to avoid that. And I would say again, great if the host state is a safe country with an independent judiciary, rule of law, Canada, Australia, whatever. If it isn't a country like that,